Listen, I get that there's no cure for tinnitus, but there are a lot of things that you can actually do to get relief if you want it. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm talking about 5 different tinnitus treatments that you need to try, and some of them are so simple, it's crazy that you haven't already tried them. Tinnitus sucks. It affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and there's no universal treatment that works for everybody. However, because it is such a huge problem, there has been a ton of effort looking for ways to get rid of this phantom ringing and buzzing sound. And you know what? There's actually a lot of people out there who've experienced a significant amount of relief from their tinnitus by a variety of different treatment options. Are you actually guaranteed to have success with some of these treatments? The answer to that is definitely no. In fact, I would suspect that the majority of individuals who have tinnitus do not get tinnitus relief from most of the tinnitus treatment options out there. But I would also suspect that most of those individuals do have a treatment or two that would actually work for them. That's why I created my list of 5 tinnitus treatments that you really need to try, because I suspect that one of these treatments will actually work for you. But before I share what these treatments are, do me a huge favor, click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It's greatly appreciated. And a huge shout out to Modern Tinnitus for sponsoring today's video. Modern Tinnitus Specialty Centers offer a wide range of evidence-based tinnitus treatments in order to reduce your tinnitus symptoms as much as possible and help you get your life back on track. Another thing that sets Modern Tinnitus Specialty Centers apart from the rest is their ability to monitor different biomarkers in response to your tinnitus treatment using our proprietary Modern Tinnitus Basecamp platform. Not only does Basecamp allow your provider to measure your response to treatment using key biometrics like heart rate variability, sleep quantity and quality, and movement data, but it also allows them to make real-time data-driven adjustments to your treatment so you can achieve the highest amount of tinnitus relief possible. If you'd like to experience the difference that objectively monitored evidence-based tinnitus care makes, go to moderntinnitus.co to find the closest Modern Tinnitus Specialty Center in your area. Alright, so the first tinnitus treatment that you need to try is hearing aids. Now I know that this was probably not what you were expecting, but if you have an underlying hearing loss that's causing your tinnitus, you have to get the hearing loss treated first. When you start to lose your hearing, sound no longer makes it from your ears up to your brain. And what does your brain do to replace that missing sound? It turns on its own internal amplifier, and what you get is a ringing or buzzing sound. It's estimated that upwards of 90% of individuals who have tinnitus also have an underlying hearing loss. The good news is, research suggests that up to 70% of individuals who use hearing aids to treat their underlying hearing loss experience significant tinnitus relief. How could that be? Well, when you replace missing sound back to the brain can shut off its own internal amplifier and you no longer perceive the tinnitus, and if you do perceive it, it's at a much lower level. And the relief that hearing aids provide is almost instantaneous as long as you've had those hearing aids fit and programmed properly using real ear measurement to match your hearing loss prescriptive targets. I want to make sure that I say this very clearly. If you're going to use hearing aids to try and get rid of your tinnitus, you have to make sure that you're hitting your prescriptive targets and have those targets verified with real ear measurement. How do I know this? Because I reprogram hearing aids all the time for individuals who have tinnitus, and magically when I reprogram their hearing aids to match their prescriptive targets, their tinnitus perception goes significantly lower. So if you have tinnitus and you also happen to have a hearing loss, using hearing aids to properly treat your hearing loss is one of the best tinnitus treatments that are out there, and you should definitely give them a try. The second tinnitus treatment that you should definitely try is guided breathwork. I know this seems a little hokey, but hear me out. Tinnitus activates your sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for your fight or flight response. When your sympathetic nervous system becomes overactive, it often results in higher heart rate, heightened perceived tinnitus loudness, the increased release of stress hormones like cortisol, and creates a nasty feedback loop that goes from tinnitus to increased stress levels, which also leads to more tinnitus, and it keeps going and going. But doing guided breath work can actually activate more of your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and digestion. This can lower your heart rate, it can reduce the loudness perception of your tinnitus, it can reduce your tinnitus awareness, it can reduce the release of stress hormones like cortisol, and it can break that nasty feedback loop of stress, tinnitus, and so on. My personal favorite guided breathwork strategy is box breathing. This is where you inhale oxygen through your nose for a count of 4 seconds, you hold that for 4 seconds, you then exhale out of your mouth for another 4 seconds, and hold for another 4 seconds. You then repeat this over and over again for 2 to 5 minutes. If you would like to have more of an externally guided breathwork session, you can always go onto the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download one of any of the many breathwork apps that are out there. The third tinnitus treatment strategy that I would highly recommend is using masking sounds. One of the most popular videos that I have ever published on my YouTube channel was a 10-hour video recording of water rushing over rocks at West Fork Trail in Sedona, Arizona. The reason that I stopped to record that sound is because I immediately noticed that when I was in that part of the trail with that water rushing over the rocks, I could not perceive the tinnitus in my right ear. The reason why these masking sounds work so well for individuals with tinnitus is because they temporarily mask over the perception of your tinnitus. And technically anything can be a masker. You can have nature sounds, you can have white noise, you can have a fan running, you can have a variety of other sounds like music that just distract your brain away from focusing on the tinnitus so much. I'm pretty much addicted to masking sounds. There are certain situations where I'm in a quiet room, I just want to have some sound going on in that room so I don't focus on my tinnitus too much. And I can't even travel and stay in a hotel unless I have one of my white noise maskers with me. I even run a small fan in my clinic office to drown out the perception of my tinnitus throughout the day. Now, it's important to understand that maskers are not necessarily tinnitus treatments. They're just a tool in your tool belt that you can break out whenever you need to if your tinnitus gets really bad. But I, for one, love using tinnitus maskers because it has benefited me immensely over the course of my life. The fourth tinnitus treatment that you definitely need to try is getting more and better sleep. Now, I know that this is easier said than done, but you've got to hear me out here. The fact of the matter is, if you cannot develop a strategy to get more and better sleep, then tinnitus will continue to be a problem for you. In fact, this is one of the many reasons that modern tinnitus specialty centers monitor your sleep data when you're going through a tinnitus treatment. Ideally, you want to shoot for anywhere between 15 and 25% of REM sleep, 20 to 25% of deep sleep, and then light sleep for the remainder of your sleep time. REM and deep sleep are incredibly important when it comes to your brain's recovery and to reduce your overall stress levels, which we know can have a direct impact on your tinnitus perception. There are several things that you can do to increase your REM and deep sleep, and it starts with a consistent sleep schedule. You want to shoot for anywhere between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night, and that might sound crazy to you, and maybe you need to work your way up there, but the most important thing is that you go to bed at the same time and you wake up at the same time, whether it's on a weekday or on a weekend. It doesn't work if you only sleep a few hours a night Monday through Friday, but then you binge sleep 10 hours on the weekends. What you're doing is you're resetting your internal clock to be used to going to sleep at a certain time and waking up at a certain time every single day so you don't consistently struggle to get to sleep and stay asleep. You're also going to want to turn off your electronic devices. So as soon as you're done watching this video, if it's at night and you're trying to go to sleep, you need to turn off your phone or computer screen because that light is preventing you from getting high quality sleep. The rule is you try to turn off all of the screens in your house at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. This will definitely help you get to sleep faster and give you higher quality sleep while you're at it. This next one's pretty self-explanatory, but you also want to limit the intake of both stimulants and depressants before you go to bed. You don't want to be drinking caffeine before bed. You don't want to be drinking alcohol before bed. You typically want to have this stuff out of your system about 7 hours before you go to sleep. Research also shows that you should stop eating food anywhere between 2 and 3 hours before you go to bed. You've also got to control the environment that you sleep in. You want to make sure that your room is as dark as humanly possible, and you want to make sure that the temperature of the room is a little bit on the lower side, ideally between 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That might seem a little bit cold, but research shows that people actually get better sleep when the room's a bit colder. On top of that, as you know, I like to use a fan when I go to sleep. It just hums me to sleep like a baby. Now, you might be thinking to yourself that I'm crazy and that getting better sleep is virtually impossible, but I'm here to tell you that controlling your sleep is probably the easiest and most important thing that you need to control if you want to get tinnitus relief. And the fifth and final tinnitus treatment that you definitely need to try is bimodal neuromodulation. Bimodal neuromodulation is probably one of the most researched, newest forms of tinnitus tinnitus treatment out there. This form of treatment stimulates your brain through two different pathways, your auditory pathway and your somatosensory pathway. The auditory pathway is done through sound therapy through your ears, and the somatosensory pathway is stimulated with electrical impulses through your tongue. This treatment leverages the neuroplasticity of your brain and essentially rewires how your brain is perceiving the tinnitus. Peer-reviewed research has consistently shown that anywhere between 78 and 91% of individuals who use this form of therapy and have a moderate or worse level of tinnitus perception experience a clinically meaningful reduction in their tinnitus distress between 6 and 12 weeks. Now, I have several videos reviewing this different research that has come out over the years that you can check out on my YouTube channel, and I'll go ahead and put a couple links in the description for you. As of right now, there is only one way to receive FDA-approved bimodal neuromodulation, and that is with the linear tinnitus treatment device. Now, if you're someone who's already tried all of the other tinnitus treatments that I've mentioned in this video, and even additional treatments on top of that, and you've experienced little to no benefit, bimodal neuromodulation should be the next thing on your list. Now, like I said earlier in this video, if you have tinnitus, you may or may not get relief from any of the tinnitus treatments that I've just presented to you. But you also might be someone who needs to use every single one of these treatments to get tinnitus relief. And please keep in mind that this is not a comprehensive list of all of the tinnitus treatments that are out there. There are a variety of other notable and effective tinnitus treatments. And if you don't feel like you're capable of identifying the most ideal treatment for you, that is definitely a reason to seek out a tinnitus professional. And one of the best ways to do that, like I mentioned earlier in this video, is to go to moderntinnitus.co and finding a modern tinnitus specialty center in your area. But I want to hear from you. What tinnitus treatments have you found to be most effective for you? Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.